Liverpool fans, big changes are coming to Anfield. Arne Slot has broken his silence on criticism, massive player exits and shocking transfer drama. Stay tuned because this could change Liverpool's future forever. Arne Slot reacts to Liverpool criticism and shares lesson he learned this season. Liverpool boss Arne Slot has been speaking about his future in more depth after making clear before facing Aston Villa that he will remain with the Premier League side next season. Arne Slot has insisted that he has never considered stepping away from Liverpool despite the intense criticism he has received this season amid a tough title defence at Anfield. Still requiring another 3 points to confirm qualification for the Champions League, the Reds have endured an underwhelming 12 months with the need for more changes clear when the summer arrives. Online, the criticism of Slot has been particularly fierce in some quarters, despite the obvious mitigations for the team's struggles, while there have been boos inside Anfield at times too, including last weekend during and after the 1-1 draw with Chelsea. "I have always wanted to carry on," Slot said via the Liverpool Echo. "I have never once thought what you are suggesting because, as I have said many times, I think this club is in a much better place next season than this season because of what I have already said 150 times. Even this season, there was a lot to play for. 2 months ago, we lost to Paris Saint-Germain and Manchester City, and that was the first time we were not able to win anything anymore. But we can still win qualification for the Champions League. It is the first time in my career that I am not in the end playing for a trophy. Only once I didn't win something, so now it is going to be the second year. That is going to be a bit new. But until 2 months ago, we were still fighting for things. So no, not once did that go through my mind. Some have pointed to Liverpool's tactical setup as a reason for the team struggling to perform. Others would point out that the Reds have been unfortunate with injuries and hampered by a squad that still needs significant strengthening. I am 47, so I'm not 12 anymore," Slot continued. "I have been playing professional football since I was 16. Maybe not at the level I'm at here now, but I am used to the fact that people sometimes think you are a very good football player and sometimes don't like you so much. It is the same as a manager. If you are in this job, then you don't usually start your career at a club like this. You have a lead up to that. So we are all so used to positive and negative criticism that if you are not able to handle that, you will never end up at a club like this. I think that is also one of the things I've learnt this season, that I can handle criticism quite well. I don't act differently. I can have a clear mind and do the things I want to do. I don't know how I have to say this in English perfectly, but there is no reason to think that it is not going to be the situation, him staying at Liverpool next season. It is all about you guys who are talking about this and probably social media even more. It is not something I'm talking about every day. I'm talking about Aston Villa. For me, nothing has changed. What has changed is the results. My relationship with the people I speak to every single day has not changed a single bit. I don't know how I have to describe it in the perfect way. I know exactly what is needed. Arne Slot admits Liverpool issue is 100% true. Liverpool finished their away campaign at Aston Villa this evening, knowing victory will secure Champions League qualification. Having this time last year acquired a reputation for, quite rightly, fully enjoying their Premier League title success, Liverpool will now aim to become party poopers this evening. And if not sufficient to prompt widespread celebration, the Reds at the very least could ensure supporters can enjoy the final weekend of a tortuous campaign at Anfield, free of any worries about the outcome. Villa Park is the destination for Liverpool's final away game of the season, with the Reds aiming for the victory that would ensure Champions League qualification and, in effect, also seal fourth place ahead of their opponents. For Aston Villa, the match represents a chance to send their team off in style ahead of their Europa League final against Bundesliga side Freiburg in Istanbul next Wednesday. A win for the Reds would realistically seal a top four finish, given their much better goal difference against a fifth-placed Villa, alongside whom they presently stand on 59 points. A draw would take it to the final game at home to Brentford and leave Bournemouth as the only team who could gatecrash the Champions League berths. Even then, it would require the Cherries to beat Manchester City at home next midweek, while Villa finish at the title-chasing Etihad outfit. Regardless, Liverpool remain in control of their own destiny and will be hoping to atone for the dismal 1-1 draw at home to Chelsea last Saturday that followed a similarly low-quality 3-2 loss at Manchester United the previous weekend. Mohamed Salah, who will leave at the end of the season, is expected to return on the bench after missing the last 2 games with a minor hamstring issue. Alexander Isak should be fit enough to be back in the starting lineup, but doubts remain over Alisson Becker, hamstring, and Florian Wirtz, stomach infection. Liverpool will hope to make the most of a final opportunity to improve an away record that ranks only 9th best in the Premier League this term and has been identified by head coach Arne as a chief reason for their struggles to secure Champions League qualification. The Reds will also target a rare clean sheet, having leaked 48 goals thus far in the top flight, only 2 fewer than their worst such tally during a 38-game Premier League campaign. With Andy Robertson also following Salah out the exit this summer and uncertainty over the futures of a number of established squad members, another overhaul is expected, with 20-year-old centre-back Jeremy Jacquet already on his way from Rennes in a £60 million deal, while Slot has confirmed talks have taken place with other potential new signings. The Liverpool boss, who expects to remain in charge next season despite a difficult campaign, has recently been insistent he has identified the issues in his team and expressed confidence they can be addressed. And when asked how far off Liverpool are from his ideal vision, Slot said, "We are further away than last season. By the way, are we further away from the playing style of last season? I don't think so, but it has been less successful. So if I can compare this game against Chelsea last week with last season against Chelsea, then last season Chelsea were by far the better team on the pitch. But no one remembers that because we won 2-1 and we won the league, so everything is great about last season. The reality is we were much more dominant against them this time than last season, and I'm not saying that we were great, absolutely not. What has been said a lot about us football-wise? What are the pundits saying we are not doing well enough? I think a lot has been said that we have been counter-attacked too much and that we were too open against counter-attacks. If you are too open against counter-attacks, that can only come because you take a lot of risks. It is quite an offensive thought, isn't it? So that says a lot about our intentions. If you are too open and you are attacked too much on the counter-attack, that must be because you are attacking. You cannot be counter-attacked if you are in a low block. Slot added, "Can we do it better when we are in the final third? That is clear and obvious. And can we protect the counter-attacks better? That is also obvious. I don't think we are counter-attacked so many times, but when it happens, it usually leads to goals. Is it too easy to play through our press? That is 100% true. For large parts of our season, it has not been as good as the season before. I know exactly what is needed to correct that." Liverpool could lose 10 players this summer as Arne Slot to oversee another refresh. Liverpool may need to refresh its roster again this summer to get back up to the level of Man City and Arsenal, with Arne Slot set to be in the hot seat for the new campaign. Arne Slot looks set to remain as Liverpool's head coach at the start of the 2026-27 season. The Dutchman has a year left to run on his 3-year deal, and the expectation is that he will remain in post. Slot acknowledged as much in his Thursday morning press conference. "I don't think I'm deciding that alone by myself, but I have every reason to believe I am the Liverpool manager next season," he said. "First of all, I am contracted to this club, and second of all, from all the talks we are having. That is my take on it." What is beyond doubt is that Liverpool must be active in the transfer market once again this summer if they are to build a squad with the depth and balance necessary to mount a credible challenge for honours both domestically and on the European stage. Not least because there could be several players leaving. Mohamed Salah, club legend Salah, will say his goodbyes after a stunning 9-year Liverpool career in the match against Brentford at Anfield a week on Sunday. The Egyptian only put pen to paper on a new 2-year deal just 12 months ago, yet a dip in form and output has led to both the club and player reaching a mutual agreement to bring his contract to an early end. Salah will be near impossible to replace, but time waits for no one. Andy Robertson, Vice-Captain Robertson, is another decorated Anfield stalwart, having been at the club just as long as Salah. Yet he has been forced to share left-back duties with summer signing Milos Kerkez this season and came close to a potential move to Tottenham in January. The Scotland captain is out of contract next month and at 32 is ready to embrace a new challenge elsewhere. Alisson Becker. Much like Salah and Robertson, Alisson is a 2-time Premier League champion and Champions League victor. He is also regarded by many as Liverpool's best goalkeeper in half a century. However, fitness issues have limited his appearances, and while he remains the #1 choice between the sticks, reports indicate the Brazilian is moving closer to a summer transfer to Juventus. He represents yet another player who would be exceptionally challenging to replace: Curtis Jones. Presently the sole senior Scouser in the Liverpool first-team squad. Jones is now 25, but despite appearing in 32 Premier League fixtures this season, he has still not cemented himself as a regular starter in the Reds' engine room. Recently deployed by Slot as an emergency right-back, Jones is probably keen to play in his preferred position and, as a result, might consider leaving at the end of the campaign. The academy product will have 12 months left on his contract at the end of the season and has been linked with a move to Inter Milan. He also constitutes a saleable asset, meaning any departure could help raise funds to plough into new signings. Joe Gomez. Gomez is Liverpool's longest-serving player, having joined the club from Charlton in 2015. Yet despite being an integral part of the 2019-20 Premier League title-winning side, he has often been the Reds' versatile option, rather than a guaranteed first-choice pick. A loyal stalwart for more than a decade, Gomez might have left Anfield at the beginning of the campaign before a proposed move for Crystal Palace centre-back Mark Gahey collapsed on deadline day. With just 12 months left on his current deal, the 28-year-old recently admitted his future at the club is up in the air. "I don't know," is the honest answer. "I've only got a year left on my contract, so I don't know," he told reporters last weekend. "Whatever's meant to be will be, but I'm so grateful to have had this time here at this club. I always will be grateful to have had 11 years at a place like this. All I can do is be thankful, and we'll see." Alexis McAllister. At 27, McAllister has already achieved more during his career than most footballers could ever imagine, though that doesn't make him immune to scrutiny. A World Cup victor with Argentina and a Premier League title holder with Liverpool, the midfielder was often the catalyst in the Reds' midfield during their championship success. Yet his displays have declined this campaign sharply. With Liverpool consistently being overrun in the middle of the park, this is one position where reinforcement will undoubtedly be a priority next summer. And should a marquee addition arrive, it could be McAllister who ends up being moved on. Similar to Jones, he constitutes a valuable asset, meaning a summer exit cannot be ruled out. Wataru Endo. The Japanese midfielder was 30 upon his arrival at the club, and that was almost 3 years ago. He was unlucky to suffer a significant ankle ligament injury against Sunderland, requiring surgery, which ended his campaign prematurely. But the question persists. Has he already worn a Liverpool jersey for the last time? Endo will be targeting a comeback in time for this summer's World Cup, but with his playing opportunities at Liverpool continually limited, it might be the right moment to seek a new challenge elsewhere. His current contract runs until 2027. Federico Chiesa. Significant excitement surrounded the signing of Juventus star Chiesa in August 2024, yet despite becoming something of a cult hero, in reality he has entered the small group of Italian footballers who have all failed to make a genuine impact in the red shirt of Liverpool. Clearly not preferred by Slot, a return to Italy this summer seems highly likely. Harvey Elliott. Had things gone to plan, Elliott's status as a former Liverpool player would by now be all but confirmed. His loan move to Aston Villa at the start of the season was designed to see the Europa League finalists fulfil an obligation to purchase him for $47 million, £35 million. Unai Emery had another idea though, and chose not to play Elliott often enough to trigger the arrangement. He will return to Liverpool at the end of the season, having wasted 12 months of his career at Villa Park. The prospect of his Anfield career being resurrected seems rather unlikely, however, given that Slot was willing to loan him out in the first place, making a permanent exit elsewhere very much a possibility come the summer. Kostas Tsimikas. The Greek Scouser carved his place in Liverpool's history by scoring the winning penalty in the FA Cup final against Chelsea in 2022 and was part of the Premier League title-winning side last season. Yet he has consistently played second fiddle to Robertson. When Kirkez joined for $54 million, £40 million in the summer, a loan arrangement with AS Roma was subsequently put in place. With Robertson set to depart, Tsimikas could return as backup for Kirkez, but would the 30-year-old be content in that capacity? And more importantly, do Liverpool need a stronger option who can push the Hungarian harder at the highest level? Much could depend on the transfer business the Reds carry out at the start of the season. He could prove to be a financially savvy squad option in a surprising comeback. Liverpool injury news and return dates as Florian Wirtz and Mohamed Salah updates given. Liverpool face Aston Villa on Friday as they look to secure a top 5 finish in the Premier League. But Arne Slot has several injury concerns ahead of the game. Liverpool get back to business on Friday evening at Aston Villa as they press on with their push to qualify for next season's Champions League. The Reds saw points slip away at home to Chelsea in their most recent outing, but remain within touching distance of guaranteeing a top 5 finish. Arne Slot's men could confirm their place back among Europe's elite with victory at Villa Park, 8 p.m. Should Liverpool come up short in Birmingham this week, they will still have another opportunity to clinch Champions League qualification in their season finale at home to Brentford on Sunday, May 24, 4 p.m. Slot continues to grapple with several fitness concerns ahead of Friday's clash. Florian Wirtz will undergo a late assessment before the match, though Mohamed Salah is expected to feature in some capacity against Unai Emery's outfit. Meanwhile, Alisson Becker could reclaim his place between the sticks, with the Brazilian having resumed training. Below is the latest on injuries and expected return dates for Liverpool's squad. Mohamed Salah. Liverpool confirmed in an official statement that Salah would feature again before the season ends. Slot backed this up in his injury briefing on Thursday, saying that he is in contention for a brief cameo against Villa. What Slot has said: Salah is available for a few minutes, but hopefully can come in. Florian Wirtz faces a late fitness test ahead of Friday's encounter after being struck down by a stomach infection. What Slot has said: stomach infection, so let's see how fit he is for tomorrow. He's on antibiotics. Let's see if he's ready to play tomorrow. Alisson Becker. Liverpool could welcome Alisson back into the starting 11 on Friday, but Slot has made clear that nothing is certain just yet. What Slot has said: Alisson trains with us again. Let's see where he is tomorrow, if he is ready already or has to wait one more week. Ibrahima Konate. Konate has been given the all clear after being substituted during the second half against Chelsea last weekend. What Slot has said: Ibu is okay, trained with us. Wataru Endo. Liverpool are hopeful of having Endo available for the closing stages of the season, with the midfielder having undergone ankle surgery earlier this year. What Slot has said: Endo is starting to go out, not with the team, but he is starting to do exercises outside with the rehab team. He will not be available next week or the week after. We are hoping for him to be back at the end of the season. Hugo Ekitike has been ruled out for the rest of the season and this summer's World Cup after suffering a serious Achilles injury. What Slot has said: the surgery went well, but in such a long rehab process, there are so many steps that need to be made. Experts will tell you this will take multiple months, and then it depends on the steps. We don't know yet, but the first and most important step is that the surgery went well. Conor Bradley. Bradley is another player facing a lengthy spell on the sidelines due to a serious injury, although he is more likely to make his comeback before the year is out. Giovanni Leone. Young defender Leone is just over 7 months into his rehabilitation following a ruptured ACL. Arne Slot explains why he won't quit Liverpool job and the one thing that's changed. Liverpool head coach Arne Slot has further discussed his future at Anfield and his reaction to criticism from supporters. Arne Slot insists he has not once thought about walking away from Liverpool, despite the intense criticism he has received this season. The Reds have endured a hugely disappointing campaign in defence of the Premier League title they secured during Slot's debut campaign in charge. Liverpool still need 3 more points from their final 2 games to secure a top 5 berth and Champions League qualification, despite having recruited a record £450 million worth of players last summer. Slot has been regularly targeted on social media for fearsome abuse from a number of self-styled Liverpool influencers in particular, while the Anfield crowd have also shown their dissent, with his team booed off on several occasions at home this season. The Dutchman was jeered during the 1-1 draw against Chelsea last weekend for his decision to substitute Rio Ngamoha midway through the second half, although it later transpired the 17-year-old intimated he wanted to be replaced due to cramp. And having previously stated he understands such criticism, Slot remains steadfast in his desire to continue as Liverpool boss, and his belief matters will be much improved next season. I have always wanted to carry on, and I have never once thought what you are suggesting because, as I have said many times, I think this club is in a much better place next season than this season because of what I have already said 150 times, he said. Even this season there was a lot to play for. 2 months ago we lost to Paris Saint-Germain and Manchester City, and that was the first time we were not able to win anything anymore. But we can still win qualification for the Champions League. It is the first time in my career that I am not in the end playing for a trophy. Only once I didn't win something, so now it is going to be the second year. That is going to be a bit new. But until 2 months ago, we were still fighting for things. So no, not once did that walking away go through my mind. Asked whether the criticism of his methods have made him lose belief in himself, Slot added, I am 47, so I am not 12 anymore. I've been playing professional football since I was 16, maybe not at the level I am at here now, but I'm used to the fact that people sometimes think you are a very good football player and sometimes don't like you so much. It is the same as a manager. If you are in this job, then you don't usually start your career at a club like this. You have a lead up to that. So we are all so used to positive and negative criticism that if you are not able to handle that, you will never end up at a club like this. I think that is also one of the things I've learnt this season, that I can handle criticism quite well. I don't act differently. I can have a clear mind and do the things I want to do. Slot, speaking on Thursday ahead of Liverpool's Premier League trip to fifth-placed Aston Villa on Friday, declared he had no reason to believe he wouldn't be the head coach next season and was already part of transfer plans for the forthcoming window. And elaborating on the claim, he said, "I don't know how I have to say this in English perfectly, but there is no reason to think that it is not going to be the situation. It is all about you guys who are talking about this and probably social media even more. It is not something I am talking about every day. I am talking about Aston Villa. For me, nothing has changed. What has changed is the results. My relationship with the people I speak to every single day has not changed a single bit. I don't know how I have to describe it in the perfect way. Embarrassing, Unai Emery fires Liverpool clear message over Harvey Elliott loan saga. Harvey Elliott is nearing the end of his frustrating season on loan at Aston Villa, where he has barely featured due to a clause in the agreement with Liverpool. Unai Emery has admitted that Harvey Elliott's wasted season on loan at Aston Villa is embarrassing for everyone involved. Elliott has barely featured during his loan spell from Liverpool due to a clause in the agreement between the two clubs. The 23-year-old midfielder moved to Villa Park in search of more regular game time, yet has only made 9 appearances across all competitions for Villa this season. He has made 4 of those appearances in the Premier League, totalling just 109 minutes of action. That is due to the fact that Villa would have to sign him permanently from Liverpool for £35 million if he reached 10 league appearances. Back in February, Villa manager Emery accused Liverpool of damaging Elliott with the terms of the loan agreement. Speaking ahead of their Premier League game against Liverpool on Friday night, Emery has now apologised to Elliott and spread the blame out. "It is something embarrassing for everyone involved in it. My apologies for Harvey Elliott are every day in my mind," he said. "But it is the responsibility. We have our responsibility and Liverpool have their responsibility. As a human and as a person, how the season has gone has been difficult." Liverpool manager Arne also addressed the subject in his pre-match press conference, in which he confirmed Elliott will return to the club over the summer for pre-season. "I think for him, for everyone, it didn't work out as he wanted it, as we wanted it, and probably also how Villa wanted it, because you usually sign a player or bring him in on loan to use him," Slot said. "That hasn't happened a lot. That's not for me to answer why that is, but of course, it's never nice for a player not to make so many minutes, especially after the season he had with us, where he made, I assume, even more minutes with us than these 280. He went over there to get more playing time, but unfortunately that didn't happen. And for such a talented player that did so well in the Young to 21 Euros last summer, you want a player like that to get more and more playing time. He went to a very, very good team as well, where they also have a lot of good players. I don't know why he hasn't made the minutes he was expecting. That's not for me to answer, but it's always a pity if a player hardly plays for 2 years, let alone a player of that age that has shown during the Young to 21 Euros that he's such a good player. Liverpool refused to recall Elliott in the January transfer window, and it seems unlikely that they will change their mind over his future. The England under-21 star's Liverpool contract runs until June 2027, but a summer transfer appears on the cards once his Villa purgatory has ended. Anthony Gordon sent brutal Bayern Munich warning as Liverpool and Arsenal lurk. Anthony Gordon is edging closer to a Bayern Munich move, but Danny Murphy has questioned the Newcastle winger's switch, comparing him unfavourably to Luis Diaz. Danny Murphy has insisted Anthony Gordon is not on Luis Diaz's level, despite the Newcastle winger seemingly edging toward a move to Bayern Munich. Gordon appears to be heading for the exit at Newcastle this summer, and while he has been heavily linked with Liverpool over the past couple of years, having come close to a switch to Anfield in 2024, Bayern looks increasingly likely to be his next destination. Speculation surrounding the German giants has intensified this week, though a disagreement between Bayern and Newcastle over the winger's valuation could yet hand Liverpool the chance to swoop in and steal the deal. Bayern are reportedly reluctant to pay over the odds, with questions remaining over how much game time Gordon would actually receive, given the impressive form of former Liverpool man Diaz and Michael Olise throughout the campaign. Murphy has admitted he struggles to see Gordon displacing Bayern's current options, casting doubt over the logic behind a potential move to the Allianz Arena. I'm a little surprised, Murphy told TalkSport. I mean, I like Anthony Gordon. He's got great strengths and qualities. His consistency is a problem. He's had that wonderful run in Europe this season, but a lot of penalties. This is his highest scoring season. But when you look at where Munich are at, I don't think he threatens the 11. He's not on Diaz's level. So from a footballing perspective, of course, if it does happen, amazing contract. They'll pay him more than he's on at Newcastle. He's going to a club that is more likely to win things. They're going to play 60 games, so he'll get games. But he's not on the same level as Luis Diaz, and he's, 4 years younger, 3 years younger? So unless Munich have got some sort of plans and Diaz is off somewhere, OK, he's got confidence in himself, fine, I'm sure he has, he's that type of lad. But from a footballing perspective as a player, I'm trying to look at it from his point of view, other than the financial gain. You're going to be sitting on the bench. Gordon is understood to be Bayern's primary target this summer, yet the Bundesliga giants remain considerably short of Newcastle's asking price. Newcastle are thought to be demanding around €80 million, £69 million for Gordon's services, while Bayern places worth at just €60 million, £52 million. Liverpool and Arsenal are also believed to be keeping close tabs on the England international, leaving Newcastle facing a considerable headache over his future. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss the latest Liverpool news and transfer updates.